Let me introduce myself first. So myself Akhil. So I have total 6 years of experience into this DevOps and cloud. So where I have most of the time I used to work on Docker and Kubernetes and Terraform and cloud related deployments. So I'm teaching this Docker and Kubernetes over the 2 years. Past 2 years I'm teaching this course, Docker and Kubernetes course. So let's start. So agenda for this today's demo is to understand Docker and what is Docker and how we need to containerize our applications with the help of Docker, and understand Kubernetes and how to deploy our applications into the Kubernetes cluster. So before going to this Docker concept and all these things, let's go back into the time where Docker is not there at all. So earlier, how the development will used to happen is, so we have a development team, so they will develop their application in their laptop. So dev team will be there. In their laptops, if they used to develop their applications, they used to test the application in their laptop. So once the application is developed, and they will give the application to the code to QA team for testing, right? So the QA team will be there. So in their laptops, your team QA team used to run their code in their laptop. Then they will face any issues. So in development team laptops, the code is working fine and the application is working fine. But whereas when it comes to the QA team, the code which they have ran in the dev team in their laptops, QA team, they're facing the issues when they're running. So the QA team will say that it is not working. Dev team will say that it is working fine. So that conflict will be there between these two teams. So when the Docker concept exists. So it may be the reasons of, like, in development team laptops, they do have proper runtime environment. Let us take an example of Node.js or a Java application which they have built. So they have installed Java in their laptops and all the dependencies are there. And that's why the application what they have developed in their laptop, those are working fine. Whereas come to the QA team, QA team doesn't have the runtime environment. Suppose Java is not installed in their machines, and their dependencies are not there in their machines. That is the reason the QA team is not able to run the application and test the application. So to eliminate this conflict, we have come to a solution that Docker is the solution where we can package our application container into a container where we can give that packaged application to any of the operating system. So once they have Docker, they can able to run that application without any additional runtimes and all these things. So they can able to test the application. Okay. So that is where Docker comes into the picture. Whenever we have developed an application, when we wanted to give it to the QA team and all these things, we will use this Dockerization concept where we can package our application into a container. So a small container will package. So that is where this Docker concept exists. So Docker is an open source platform. Docker is an open source platform where it will enable us to develop and build and test our application in a single place. So this is where the conclusion, like, you will get a Docker. So what it will do, it will package our application. So it will package this application, and it will create a environment, like isolated environment. It will run like containers. So containers is nothing but as we are packaging the application, right? Packaging the application means with all dependencies, means libraries, system tools, code, runtime environment. All these will combinedly put it in one place. So they in one place got images. With help of images, we'll try to run the containers. Okay. So how we can relate this with the real world is, so let us take an example of a application called a toy car we are building actually. So let us take an application example of toy car. So there you have building a toy car here. So this is an example application I'm saying. So toy car app it is. Okay, this is the 𝗬𝗂𝗶𝗹 you have developed in your local environment, in your local laptops. So when it comes to, so I wanted to package this one. So the Docker as the packaging box, it will act as that holds all the core parts actually. So let us take core parts as battery, right? Battery, engine, and all the other packages actually. So the Docker, whatever the Docker concept we are using here, it will hold all these packages in one place and instructions to run this 𝗬𝗂𝗹. All these things we can combinedly put it together in a Docker app. So whenever I gave this Docker app to anyone, so it will works anywhere where Docker is installed. Either it is your laptop or your cloud or your virtual machine where the Docker is there, then this application, packaged application will work actually. So when it comes to traditional versus traditional versus Docker. So in traditional way, they will say that it will work on my laptop only, whereas in Docker, runs in everywhere. So some same image we can run in everywhere. So when it comes to VM size, so laptop is it used in huge size we'll have it. So when it comes to Docker, there's a lightweight containers will run. And this will require manual setup in Docker in traditional development. It will require manual setup to install all the runtime variables, runtime environment like Python, Java. We need to install it and then we need to run our application. Whereas in Docker, we can automate this with Docker file. So there are a few concepts we need to check. So those are Docker lifecycle. So let's talk about Docker lifecycle now. So where we can, so Docker is in the Docker architecture, how it will be is, so you will have a Docker file. So Docker file will be there. So where you will instruct your Docker file will be there, like where you have to add. So Docker file will be there. So it is a Docker file is a recipe. It is something like a recipe to how to create our Docker image and how to create our container, all these things. Okay, so it is a recipe kind of thing. So what we can do, with help of Docker file, we will create a Docker image which contains all these binaries and source code, all these things. Docker image will create. So once the image is created, we will use this image to start the container, create a container and start the container. So this is where exactly inside the container, your application will run. Okay. So this is where exactly inside your container, your application will run. So once the container is run, then we can push this image to Docker Hub. So let us take this one, a Docker Hub. Okay. So this is the simple architecture of our a simple line diagram on the architecture of our DevOps Docker lifecycle. So where we need to use a Docker file to tell the Docker that we have an application. I have a 𝗬𝗂𝗶 application here. So take this 𝗬𝗂𝗶 application with help of your Docker file. With help of Docker file, create a Docker image. Once the image is created, use that image to run the container where exactly my application wants to be run, and use the same image to store in your Docker Hub. Okay, this is the simple architecture of our Docker, how it works. So let us take an example on how to build all these things. We'll see with an example. What I will do is, and I'll write a simple Node.js application, prints hello from Docker, something like that. So what we can do is we'll use that Node.js application to Dockerize with help of this Docker file, and we'll package that application. We'll create an image out of that application. We'll run that application in the container so that we can package this entire application into the Docker. So let's take for that one, the prerequisites will be Docker installation. So once the actual course starts, I'll tell you how to install Docker and all these things. So for now, let's go to and open the Docker. So once you have installed the Docker, you can go to build back any of your CMD tools. So there you can use Docker commands. Right? So if you install Docker icon version, it will do which Docker version I'm using. So this is the Docker version I'm using currently. So let us create a application folder now, like mkdir Docker demo token demo. Okay. Now what I'll do is I'll simply add a file called app.js where we can add all these things. So for now, it will go. So you don't need to worry about this coding part and all. So development team will already be ready with their code. So you need to understand how they are building the code and running the code actually. So for an example, how to run this Node.js application. So if you give node space app.js, then it will run the application, right? So those commands you have to be aware with the help of development team. So that you need to check with them. So otherwise, the code and all these things will be prepared by dev team only.
Just a quick question here. Now, these are all done by programmer or coder.
Yes.
So, what will be the actual role for persons who use Docker and Kubernetes in our side?
So yeah. So this code, I'll explain you it. Once I have completed this one, I'll tell you. So currently what I'm doing is I'm creating a app.js file, which is a coding part. So the development team will do all these things. So for demo purpose, just hello from Docker, which will print this .js application. So I'm storing in this app.js. So if I do cat app.js now, so this is what the development team has given me. So I'll take this file. So I want, as a DevOps engineer, as a Docker expert and all, I need to containerize this application. So whatever the coding part has done by the development team, I need to use that code to create an image, Docker image. So that is where that image contains all this coding, whatever the coding part they have done, and dependencies. All these things will be done over there in this DevOps Docker file. So actual process from as a Docker expert or a DevOps engineer starts from here only. So now you guys have to create a Docker file first to take this code and all code and containerize this code. So you need to start with creating a Docker file. So a Docker file you need to create. So inside this one, this is where you need to start adding your image recipe. As I told you here, Docker file is an image recipe, how I wanted to create image. So first and foremost thing, we'll start with from. So the from part will be the base image. So in which language we are going to work on this code we have written, that base image we will take as a runtime environment. So it will take runtime like this. So node 89. So as a node application I'm using. So work, and then the next command, the immediate command will be in work directory. Work directory. So slash app. So inside this container, inside the container, I'll create a slash app folder. Okay, inside the container, I'll create a slash app folder. Inside that folder only, I'll copy all my source code. Okay. So the next command will be copy. So what we are doing, we need to copy our code app.js, right? Whatever the code is we have it app.js to the current directory of this one. So current directory is app.slash app/tab work directory. So there it will copy. So this app.js is from our laptop. It will copy to container. It will copy. So these are visual two paths here. One is this source path and this is destination path. Dot means current directory in the container. So current directory /app we have already defined in the previous step. So that's why I have given dot here. So the next line will be command. how we need to run this. So these are the three essentials we need to have to create image. So while creating the image itself, we will give a command. So whenever you image is ready, so whenever you wanted to run that image, so this is the command you need to use. That is what we need to mention in the image. Okay. So for that one, I'll use cmd command. So command will be load. So if you are familiar with Node.js and all these things, so how the application will run is, you will have app.js, we will have app.js. So once you have written app.js, if you give node simply load command called load app.js, it will run that app.js. So the same thing I have given here as well. So in my command, use node as a variable and use file app.js to run this one. So this is how you will create a Docker file to create image out of your application. Clear? Clear? So once you have created this Docker image, what you need to do, the next step is to create image out of this Docker file. So in Docker file, I have defined my steps. What are the steps Docker has to follow to create an image? So those steps will be followed line by line. So if you do this one, so first it will start with line 1 and it will go to line 2, line 3 and line 4. So what is the command to build Docker image? So Docker build it is. So Docker build is the command to create a Docker image with help of Docker file. Docker build is the command we will use. -t means tag name. So image name we will give. So my image node demo is v1. So image colon tag and have given. So this is my image name and this is my colon tag v1 is my tag name. So you can change, so for the next release you can change the tag to v2, and then for the next release you can change the tag to v3. Next release in the sense, if you have changed any code in the web.js, so there will be code change, right? So then you need to create image again to reflect the code change. At that recreation of that image, you will give version as v2. So it is completely depends on us only how we wanted to tag our image. And then you need to give dot. Dot means in current directory, it will take the Docker file. Okay. So Docker file path you need to give here. So a dot .lu in current directory only I have Docker file. So take the Docker file and build the image for me. That is what this command will do to us. The Docker build -t. This is the tag name and image name and dot. So if you do enter here, so it will start executing the steps one by one. So you see here, it has started this one. So building one means it is taking the library like Node.js, Node it is taking. So Node 18 it has taken. So in this, see here, it has pulled the node image. In the next step, work directory it has created and it has copied tab.js. So the CMD is not part of the image creation. So it will copy the contents only. Whenever you run the CMD you can able to see the image. So now we have successfully created our image. See here. So if you see, this is what it has given a name demo colon node-demo from v1. So you can check images at Docker images. If you give Docker images command, it will list you all the images in your local. So if you see here, this is my image. Known demo v1 is the tab, and this is the image ID. 44 seconds ago, I have created this image. This is the image size, 1.9 GB. Okay. Now what we need to do? So as per this one, we have created a app.js and we have created a Docker file, and with the help of the Docker file, I have created a Docker image. So now by using this Docker image, we need to run the container, correct? We need to create a container and we need to run the container. Okay. Now what I can do is Docker. I use Docker run command to run the image. Docker run -t in the test mode. So -p port number I'll give. So port number will be 3000 colon 3000. So One is container port and another one is source port, like browser port. So in my container 3000 port, I am running my application. So if you see here, I have given port as 3000. Listen, 3000. So that application will run on 3000 port. So I'm saying that in container 3000 port, this is the container port and this is the browser port in which I wanted to access this one. So it is saying that we are mapping the container port to our browser port, localhost browser port. I'm mapping this one. So that it will take the application which is running in that port and it will give the result on the browser port. And then image name. What is our image name? 𝗪𝗵𝗶_v1. Okay. So this is how you need to run your container. So if you give, so you can also give container name --name equal to demo container. So demo container I have given name. So if you give enter now, so it will create a containers for you and it will give you the container ID. So if you see, this is the container ID. So container has been created. So how to check the containers in Docker? So the command will be docker ps. Docker ps if you do. So see here, this is the container port, container they have created. The starting 12 letters or 10, 11 letters you can print here. It will print you the container ID 𝗫𝗫𝗃89. So the same container ID you can see the image _which the container is running. So this container is running this image _demo_v1. So this is the entry point command line we have given and created at this time, and the status is this time up means it is running fine. So see here port is mapped. So local post 3000 is port to 3000 port, and this is my container name. So as we see here, the container is up and running. So we can access this container from our local host. So if I open any browser, localhost 3000 if I here. Hello from Docker Kubernetes. Right. So so what I can do is, so if I give this image, so if I give this image demo node demo v1, if I give this image, what you can do, you guys have to run this image in your Docker so that the application will start and application will up and running, so that you can start testing it. So this is how we can eliminate the conflict between dev team and the testing team and dev team and the operations team, so that this Docker will gives you a containerized application with help of this image. So this image I'll give it to you so that you can run it in your local, so that you can test the application once the application is running. Clear, right? Any questions till here?
So, sir, we will learn only. So we will learn how to create data file, how to create container, how to create image files, then container, and then run it. So from scratch, we will learn all this, right?
Yes. You as a demo, I'm saying that how to containerize the application. So in actual course, I'll tell you how to write Docker file from the scratch, and how to create an image, and how to run the containers from the scratch. All these things I'll explain you.
Okay, and now we created using the Git badge, but don't we need the machine, the machine in the backend? Where are the targets?
My question here was, I just is it good to ask question, or is someone is already asking, and you're going to answer?
Yeah, I think Deepak, you have anything?
No, no,
Yeah.
yes, yes. The question was, where is the infrastructure to run the Docker? I mean, Linux machines we haven't created. Was it not needed? Whatever is for right now.
So how it will be is like Docker, we can run it anywhere, like any operating system we can install and we can run it. So for now, what I'm using my Windows Docker. So Windows desktop Docker and installed, where I have running all these things. For an example, you have an Ubuntu machine or a Linux machine you have. There we need to install Docker first. Later we need to do all these things.
Okay, so
Listen.
in actual course, we will install.
Yeah, you can able to I'll go through the course contents once this demo is done. So there you can understand clearly.
Okay.
So we'll help you to install Docker. So we'll help you to set up Docker first, and after that only we'll start going through the concepts of Docker.
So Podman and Docker both will provide, or only Docker is covered? How is that?
So it is an open source. We can install and we can learn it actually.
So do we need to learn separately Podman, or only Docker is sufficient?
No. Podman is not required. The Podman is not at all required.
Okay.
Yeah. Any questions?
I have a question now.
Yeah.
What is the basic requirements to join this course?
Sorry,
What is the minimum requirement for someone to join this course?
So basic Linux commands you need to know. That's it.
Okay, if someone doesn't know Linux, then what is the option?
Do you teach him? See, what I'll tell you is, if you see the screen, where it is. So this copy command, make directory, command work directory, make directory, all these are basic commands actually, basic Linux commands. So if you don't know, it is also fine. So while creating the Docker file, I'll explain you what is this command we'll use and how we need to use this command. I'll explain you. So only section only is if you have a like Linux commands so that you can understand more clearly. If not, I'll also explain you in the sessions itself.
And then we will do these installations and everything in both Linux and Windows.
Yes.
And test it.
Yes.
The reason I'm asking you because I'm very basic. I do understand a little bit of Linux, but I don't use it. So I just want to confirm that it is without knowing Linux or command lines.
Yeah, it is.
It's good to join. Now, do we need any programming on this course, or we don't?
Programming part that is up to you guys. Like as a Docker expert and Kubernetes expert, you don't need to key into the development part, as development team is already there. So they will give you the coding part to you. So once the code is developed, they will give it to you. So then you have to containerize that code. So you need to have a basic understanding. You need to have that is also come with help of development support. So how it will be is, I don't know about Node.js at all. Let us take an example like this. So app.js will be there. So I don't know anything about this one, Node.js, app.js. So I'll sit with my developer and I'll ask him how they have run this application. Okay. So they'll tell that simply you can give node space app.js. If you do, then this application will run. So I'll take that as my input and I'll use this in this place, the command I'll use. Okay. So simply you need to know how to run the file, how to run the source code file. You need to know. That's it. Run the development team. So they will give you code and they will give you these instructions. So how it will be is, for example, the application code is in GitHub. Okay. So in GitHub, they will maintain readme.file. You know about readme.file, right?
No.
readme.md file. So there they will give you instructions to run the application. For an example, Node.js application I have written. So in readme.md file, I'll specify that. So this is the application to print hello world. So in order to run this one, you need to install Node.js. So once Node.js is installed, simply give command called node space app.js. So if you enter this one, currently I don't have Node installed in my laptop, so that's why I'm not able to see it yet. But this is the command to run your application, Node.js application. So the same thing you need to put in your Docker file so that whenever the image is created and when you start the container, it will use this command, node space app.js. So then the container will start running your application. You can able to check your application. So that level of understanding is enough to work on this Docker and Kubernetes. Coding part is up to you guys. How much comfortable with you with your coding. So any coding language is fine for any additional purpose only to understand how they are building and how they are writing the code and all. But whereas if I ask you, if you ask me, is it really required? And say no.
And what are the tools we use in Docker while it's done?
Docker itself is a tool, right? So only Docker here is.
Will there be any automations or anything involved like Ansible or
No. So in Docker, we do have like a different concept like Docker Swarm, Docker Compose. We do have different concepts in Docker at all, Docker all together. So that we will learn in the Docker section. With the help of your Docker, you can work on your deployments, like in Kubernetes, how you are effectively deploying it, your applications. All this you can learn in this with the help of Kubernetes.
which training will give us a more on Ansible, Puppet, CI/CD, or that sort of tool? Is it on the same course or is it different?
Yeah, that is separately separate course, actually DevOps course it is. That course also you will have, you can check with in Visualpath, you can check the course actually. That course is also there. That is altogether DevOps course completely. So these two separately covered inside that as well, the DevOps tool. DevOps course.
Oh, okay. This is just the part of DevOps tool.
Yes, exactly. That with a part of DevOps where we will only focus on Docker and Kubernetes.
So, sir, Kubernetes in the sense, will we learn any cloud service or basic Kubernetes, which is, I mean, no, I don't know. So, what is the scope of Kubernetes?
Okay. So we will take any of the cloud for an example like Azure. So in Azure, we'll try to create a Kubernetes cluster. Okay. So once the Kubernetes cluster is created, we'll try to explore the cluster and we'll try to deploy our applications over there. So I'll show you just right now. So this is my Azure Kubernetes cluster, Kubernetes service. This is the Kubernetes cluster I have created for demo. So what we will do is we'll connect to this Kubernetes cluster with help of Cloud Shell or any tool we can use. So once you connect it, you keep your kubectl, get pods or get nodes, -n, -8. Okay, kubectl get nodes is set up. So kubectl get nodes. So in my Kubernetes, there is one node is created already running. So once node is ready, so that we can deploy our applications over here. So how to deploy that one, we'll explore in this course contents. How to manage your Kubernetes cluster effectively, that we will see, and how to put deployments and how to create pods and how to put security to your Kubernetes cluster and how to manage your workload on your Kubernetes cluster. All these things we can learn in this Kubernetes section.
So this is the service. So are we not? Will we not install 3 different Linux machine and then we will?
Yes. That is also there. Yeah, that is also there. So based on your operating system machines you are using, like Windows or Ubuntu or Linux or Mac systems. So I'll explain you how to install this Kubernetes in your local first. So there we will try to get comfortable with Kubernetes, like with commands, operations, and objects, what we are doing. So once after all these things, then we'll move to the cloud concepts where Kubernetes will install and will perform what we learn over the like laptops or on your local systems. Then we'll perform the same on the Kubernetes cloud as well.
So our main focus will be on the physical machine or on the service, Kubernetes service, because there are lots of cloud. So our one focus is our main.
Yeah. So
How-
what I'll do is like the concepts of Kubernetes is same whether irrespective of the cloud. Okay. So what they will give you they will give you is availability and scalability and reliability. Only three aspects they will differentiate all these three clouds, whatever we have, AWS, Azure, or GCP. Okay. Whereas the functionality of Kubernetes will be same irrespective of your cloud. functionality of your Kubernetes is same. So that is what I'm saying. So whenever we start our course actually, so I'll try to attach you the installation of Kubernetes in your local. So there we'll get comfortable with your Kubernetes concepts, Kubernetes architecture, and Kubernetes commands. So once you are comfortable with the Kubernetes commands, concepts, and all these things in your local machine, then you are ready to work on any cloud Kubernetes cluster.
Okay, so we'll be able to work on container storage, networking. So actual hard coded Docker Kubernetes administrator.
Yeah, sure. So let me go through the course so that you can understand more clearly. So this is the course we do provide with help of this Docker and Kubernetes. So if you go down here, so there is a course contents actually. So this is where you can see container tools, Docker installation, Docker engine installation, or introduction to Docker and Docker architecture. So this is where you can see images, containers, networking, services. All this will cover, and we'll try to teach you all these things with both the theory and practical. We'll do. So how my teaching will be there will be is, so 20% I'll teach you theory, and remaining 80% I'll do hands on only in this couple itself. So the theory part also I'll try to explain you in the paint itself with diagrams so that you can understand more effectively. So the remaining 80% I'll do hands-on in the call itself. So these are the course contents you can go through. So these are the course content we are going to cover. So which cover entire Docker part. So if you learn all these things, you'll be super ready to work on the Docker concepts in your roles.
Okay.
So all the Docker related things we have covered, like from storing the image, providing the network, providing the security, providing the volumes, all this related to the Docker we have covered. Similarly, it is exactly the same to Kubernetes as well. So Kubernetes architecture will try to explain you the first, and nodes. So what is nodes, pods, replicas, all these things, how to deploy, how to set stateful sets, volumes, services, secrets, ingress, all these things we can cover in Zephyr Kubernetes. Scale.
Actual what industry is needed to work, that is all covered, right?
Yeah, yes. It is all covered. So it is the latest up to date course only. We try to will make up to date course contents as per the industry needs.
Okay.
Do we do any small projects on here, side by side?
Yes. So whenever the course every topic is ended, I'll try to give an assignment for you. So what you guys learned today, so you have to do that assignment daily. So once after the course is completed, like let us say Docker is completed, so we'll do an end-to-end project on Docker, what we learned so far, so that you can use that project to your resumes.
So, so this course, like after completion, we would be able to work independently. Does it? And
Yes,
does it?
but when, absolutely. You can work on Docker, any Docker like a task or any requirement you get from the Docker, you can able to work on individually by your own. So the ultimate factor here is you need to do practice a lot.
Mm.
So all the things we are going to learn in theory, it is fine, but we need to do hands-on. We need to get our hands dirty in this areas, whatever we are going to learn. So because why I'm saying this one is, this involves a lot of commands. So we need to familiar with those commands. So we don't need to remember all these commands, but we need to know what command we need to use where, right?
Yeah.
So that we need that level of understanding we need to get. When you get that one, by practice only.
So the Docker and Kubernetes is same for AWS, Azure, or
Yes.
GCP.
Yes, there is. Even the Kubernetes commands also the same.
Same. Okay.
So that is what I'm saying. The tool, like that concept we are learning, so that we'll apply that concept to different cloud providers. So let us take Kubernetes as an example. So Kubernetes, what it will do, it will manage all the containers in one place. So for that one, what we can do is, so let us take this an example. Right. Yeah. So but this is the deployment.yaml file in Kubernetes we'll use to work on. So what it will do is, it will try to deploy your application in the Kubernetes, this entire file. So how it will deploy, what it will deploy, this will do, this will learn in the upcoming concepts. But what you can understand is, in Kubernetes, in Docker, we have run an image demo of Node.js. We have run an application, right? So in the same way, we are running a Nginx image here in my Kubernetes. So Nginx, you know, right? So it is a web browser application. So Nginx we are running here. Similarly, I'm running one more container. So one more container called busybox. So Kubernetes will give you a feasibility to run multiple containers in one place. So if you see in Docker, if I do Docker PS, if I do, so I'm able to run only one container at a time. So if I wanted to run another container, I need to run one more run command, Docker run -d, another container name, another image name, IDTQ, right? So whereas in the Kubernetes, it will orchestrate all these containers in one place. Okay, multiple containers will run in one place as a microservices. So you know about microservices, right? Like in every development team will follow this microservice architecture. So where they will segregate each and their applications into microservices. For example, if you take e-commerce application, there you have different microservices like payments, e-cart, and what we say UI application, backend application. These kind of microservices we have it. So all these microservices are nothing but containers. So those containers we can effectively manage with the help of Kubernetes. So that is where we are going from Docker to Kubernetes to manage our containers effectively in one place with multiple containers to run in one go and multiple containers to stop in one go. Okay, so ultimately to work on this Kubernetes, you need to know Docker concepts. Why? Because Kubernetes also will run image only, right? Kubernetes also is running image, ultimately image only running inside the Kubernetes. But how to get this image? Again, you need to come back to the Docker and you need to create image. Again, you need to come back to your Docker file, Docker concepts like creating a Docker file, creating an image, and using that image to run the container. So this container, if you run inside the Docker, it is a Docker container. If you run this container inside the Kubernetes, it is a pod inside the pod, right? So that is the only difference between these two. So in order to proceed with your Kubernetes journey, you need to make sure you are good at Docker as well. So that's why we are combinedly giving the course content with both Docker and Kubernetes. Hope this makes sense to you all.
Please paste this link in the chat, sir. Please.
Yeah, sure. I thought you got this one. Yeah, I'm giving in the chat. So with this one, I'll conclude my demo. So you guys go through this course contents and let us know what is your feedback.
Sir, it is a weekly, weekdays class will be there, weekends classes.
So you tell me like how you are.
Honestly, I'm personally interested in weekdays because weekends, if it takes 50 hours or 70 hours training, so I don't want that it will take 4 5 months. So weekdays I'm interested. I will move for others.
Okay then. So yeah, weekdays will I think I'll check with my team once, so they'll get back to you again for this timings and all.
And also And if possible, please, for me, what I am comfortable with, in according to our IST, morning is good because we usually support US Europe ship. Na? So morning will be comfortable for me.
Yeah. So we do also plan to do morning shift out, morning bands only. So yes, yeah, we'll fix on that one. Yeah, Ajay, please.
Yeah, I will be also available only in the morning, like Indian time, 7 to 8. Just once, like, is why DevOps is, and because DevOps is already, sorry, Docker and Kubernetes is already included in DevOps, and this is DevOps is completely separate course to those ones. What is the time frame for this one? How many hours?
Yeah, this one is 45 days. It is these two.
Sorry,
45 days. 45 days.
45 days. Yeah, is it 5 days or 7 days?
We'll 5 days only. So we do have another batch running or only weekend. For weekdays, we only do 5 days. 5 days a week we'll do. So based on that, we'll complete that in the 45 days session or 45 days of duration.
Oh, okay.
So, sir, once this training is completed, will we get any placement from your side for this Docker?
So like both Docker and Kubernetes combinedly you need to put in your resume so that you will have opportunities at Docker, opportunities at Kubernetes as a Kubernetes administrator or a Kubernetes developer like that you can target for that roles.
And what about sir exam CK, CKD? Will I?
So
will
CK you can give a exam for CK examination. So with this course. And for Docker also we have so Docker is certification, Docker professional certification we do have, right? So that one also you can target for that.
So the international certificate, global certificate. Sorry, my bad. So will Visualpath help us to accomplish the certification?
So completion of certification in the sense, so based on this course, so whatever you learn in this course, it will help you to get that certification as well. That's for sure. But helping in the sense, I'm not get that one.
I mean, arranging the exams and some notes, dumps will we get?
So you can get the notes for each and every class, what we have got to learn, the theory notes and comments, what we are going to execute, all those things you get in the notes session so that you can refer it for your examination. So arranging this examinations and all, I'm also not sure. I need to check it materials.
Okay, sir. No worries. And when will we start this course? When will we start this?
Sorry?
What is the start date of this course?
So from Monday itself, if you're okay, if you're all guys are okay and okay to join all these things, so that we can start from Monday itself.
Yeah, I'm okay. We'll check with that, please.
Yeah. So yeah, my team will get back to you. So you guys individually, so that you provide us a honest feedback, so that we can proceed based on.